Hi, this is Tao and I'm in charge of the listening and speaking part. First, I'm going to show you a video about we culture and me culture that I've prepared for the listening part and you'll complete the gathering exercise in the handout. You watch the video once, then I'm going to call two people to send me the answer for this part. Take a look at the exercise and read the instruction carefully. Okay, now play the video.
From the moment we're born, we begin to develop our identities. Who are we? What should we care about? And how should we relate to all these people around us? As it turns out, the way each of us answers these questions largely depends on the culture we grow up in. One major difference between cultures in the East and the West is how they view the individual in relation to the group. Some cultures tend to place more importance on the individual. They're known as individualistic or me societies. People in a me culture believe each individual is responsible for their own well-being. Their circle of responsibility extends only to their immediate family members, parents, spouses, or children. On the other hand, some cultures place more importance on the group. They're called collectivist societies, or we cultures. People in a we culture prioritize strong social ties and belonging to a larger group. These groups might include classmates, neighbors, and extended families. They strive for group harmony and believe the individual should make the best decisions for the overall well-being of their group. If you take care of the group, they'll take care of you. So how does this me versus we difference shape our behavior? As it turns out, this seemingly subtle distinction has some surprising effects. Imagine two families each go out to dinner. The family from a me culture might consist of just 4 people, 2 parents and their 2 children. The family from a we culture would need a much larger table to make room for 2 children, their cousins, and multiple sets of parents and grandparents. At the me table, everyone would order the specific meal they wanted. When the food comes, they may trade a bite or two, but for the most part, each person would eat their own meal. At the we table, on the other hand, multiple dishes would be ordered for the whole table. They would be placed in the center, and all members of the family would share them. Now, let's say a family member was running late. How is each table likely to respond? At the me table, people are expected to be masters of their own fate. So when teenage brother Lee arrives late, the family is more likely to attribute his tardiness to some fundamental aspect of Lee's personality, like assuming he is lazy or irresponsible. At the we table, on the other hand, they're more likely to see Lee's behavior as part of a larger context. Rather than blaming him for being lazy, they may assume external factors were involved. Maybe there was an accident on the road, and Lee got caught in bad traffic. Say Lee was coming from a basketball game where he scored a game-winning shot. At the me table, Lee would be celebrated as the hero. His individual action won the game for the whole team. In a celebratory toast, Lee would likely speak about how his hard work, determination, and focus led him to this moment. Meanwhile, at the we table, the team's overall victory would be celebrated. Lee's toast would more likely focus on how his teammates, coaches, and mentors led to the team's success. He may even mention a larger context, like the support of the team's school administration or fan base. Both of these viewpoints are true. Lee's actions secured the victory, but the team's effort won the game. There is no objective, right or wrong way to think about individuals versus groups. What works for one culture just may not work for another. So the next time the behavior of someone from another culture seems weird or even rude, try asking yourself, how did they grow up to understand the world? Could my behavior seem as weird from their viewpoint? Cultural differences don't hold all the answers, but they can help us begin to understand each other and appreciate the richness and variety of human societies.
Okay, so let's move on to the next part, the speaking part. Learning to speak fluently in a second language takes time and practice, but there are some useful tricks that can help you. Would like to introduce some tips. The first tip is listening. You learn how to speak by hearing words, and you learn how to construct longer sentences and tell stories by hearing others and trying yourself. Learning how to speak requires a lot of experimentation, trying, making mistakes, correcting your mistakes, succeeding, repeating, and practicing. When you listen to a new language, it helps you if you also look at the speaker's mouth and pay attention to the movement. Your hearing will enable you to identify the sound, and your sight will help you to copy the right position of your lips. Also, when you listen and copy a phrase, remember to pay attention to the speaker's intonation and try to copy the movement of the sentence. There's a natural movement of tone in a sentence, usually going up in the middle and down at the end, putting stress on one or two important words. The second tip is learning chunks. Knowing the meaning of a word is useful, but knowing how to use it in context is vital. Words aren't used in isolation and will often form part of an expression or a fixed set of words. Being able to count these chunks of vocabulary will help you to improve English fluency skills. Chunks are group of words that can be found together in language. A chunk can be a collocation, two or more words that are frequently used together, for example hard work or heavy rain. A functional expression, such as those used for greetings like how are you or seeking clarification, like what does it mean. Fixed expression, a multi-word unit where the different parts cannot be changed, for example, you're welcome. A sentence starter, a combination of words that are often used to start the sentences, for example, it depends on. An idiom, a group of words that have a different meaning to the meanings of the individual words, like out of the blue or raise the bar. The next tips to improve your fluency is to stop translating and learn to think in English. The problem with thinking in your native language and translating is that it results in sentences that are not correct in English because the grammar and the sentence structure is often different in English and your native language. Also, it takes too much time to think and translate when you're in conversation, leading to pauses and hesitations and an inability to speak fast and fluently. In the beginning of your language learning experience, you'll probably find that you tend to associate new foreign words with the equivalent in your native tongue. Instead of allowing yourself to do that, try associating a word with a clear image or feeling instead. As you continue to do this, it becomes more of a habit, so things are going to pop up into your head. For example, instead of associating the words such as the English word cat with the Vietnamese word con mèo, try actually picturing a cat instead. Second, don't use a bilingual dictionary. It will help to build your mind to work in English mode rather than translation mode. If you have to learn and understand a word by reading in English and studying what it means in English, then you know it as an English word, not a translation of your language. Next, I'm going to show you some tips to brainstorm your idea in some speaking tests. Or some tests include speaking like IELTS or TOEFL. So the first technique is the 6 thinking hats technique. This is a way of investigating an issue from a variety of perspectives, but in a clear, conflict-free way. It can be used by individuals or groups to move outside habitual ways of thinking. Try out different approaches and then think constructively about how to move forward. There are 6 hats in this technique that you have to try on when you brainstorm idea. The first one is the blue hat thinking. The blue hat thinking is big picture and control and the control mechanism that ensures the six thinking hat's guidelines are observed. You wear this hat to ensure that the hat's thinking process is working effectively. Questions to be asked include which problem or situation are we wanting to solve and what is the outcome we want? The white hat thinking is facts. It calls for information none are needed. Wearing this hat allows you to find solutions by looking at what you have and noticing what is absent. Questions to be asked include what facts are available to us now and what data is missing. Thinking is ideas. It focuses on creativity, the possibility, alternative, and new ideas. It's an opportunity to express new concepts and new perceptions. Wearing this hat helps you to think outside the box, looking for a solution that can break the rules and be untypical. Questions to be asked include, is there a new way we could do this? What about approaching the issue from the opposite viewpoint? Thinking hat is positive. It symbolizes brightness and optimism. Under this hat, you explore the positive and broad for value and benefit. Their yellow hats believe that if there's a will, there's a way, and every idea is a good idea. Questions to be asked include, what are the short-term, medium-term, and long-term benefits, and how would we feel when this is achieved? Red hat thinking is emotional. It signifies feeling, hunches, and intuition. When using this hat, you can express emotions, feelings, and share fears, likes, dislikes, love, and hate without having to offer rational explanation. Questions to be asked include, what are my feelings about this? This one is the black hat thinking. The black hat thinking is negative. This has spot difficulties where things might go wrong, why something may not work, and inherently an action hat with the intent to point out issue of risk with intent to overcome them. Question to be asked include, how will this fail and why won't this work? The second technique for the for you to brainstorm idea is the question technique. We can use WH question words to generate ideas. For example, to answer the question, should we ban hunting for sport or fun? We should answer the question using the WH questions word below. For example, for the word who, we can ask ourselves, who wants to ban hunting? Where's hunting common? Why do people hunt? How do most people hunt? What would happen if hunting was banned, and which countries hunt the most? So that is these are the tips that help you to improve your speaking skill, to help you speak English more like fluently, and the techniques for the brainstorm to help you in the speaking test. And this is also the last part of our presentation today. Do you have any question?